So when people ask me about successes in online marketing and how to get started, I always tell the story of the 4 Bs. Be found, be convincing, be analytical, and be integrated. And of all those 4 Bs, what is really the most important one is to be found. In other words, if you have a website that is not visible to the rest of the world, because you cannot be found in Google or other search engines, you're already kissing a lot of your potential visitors goodbye, because they will never find you. So the first question then is, so how do I go about being found with my website? Assuming you have a website that you spent some time and energy setting up, and you created content that speaks ideally to your audience, how do you know whether that website actually can be found in Google? Well, of course, the first question can be answered very simply. You can simply do a search for your product or services, and not necessarily your brand, in Google, and see whether you get the search returns with you and your website listed among the top 10 search results. And of course, if that's already the case, happiness is. Literally almost no further work required, and you can simply move on to one of the other Bs. If, however, as is the case with many websites, you do not show up in the search engine results, you then have to start configuring your website and creating content in such a way that it is, in fact, found by search engine visitors. And the way to go about doing that is to first of all understand what are your audience members, is your target audience actually searching for on a daily basis. And of course, you may have an idea of the kind of terminology that your audience uses and have already integrated that into your website, or you may simply start out from scratch. And if the latter is the case, one of the best tools to use is what's called the Google Keyword Tool. It lets you analyze on a very quick basis the kinds of keywords that people might type in when they are searching for your type of business. Google will return from its analysis the frequency of searches over a monthly period in regards to this keyword term versus other keyword terms. So you then have a list of between 20 and maybe 100 or more potential keywords that searchers actually use to describe your business. And then you have to incorporate that into your website, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. Now, when you use Google, you also know that not only does Google return what it calls organic search results, it also returns paid search results. In those cases, advertisers essentially have bought the keyword and display an ad on the side of the Google search results. These ads are called pay-per-click ads because the advertiser only pays on a per-click basis. And so when somebody searches on your particular keyword, they click on the keyword ad and get led to your website. And pay-per-click actually is not just a great tool to drive traffic to your website with those keywords that we have identified earlier, but it's also a fantastic market research tool because it lets you actually identify and test the kinds of keywords that work. So not only will you have a relative target and idea of how many searches are being done for a keyword in your area, but you also get a really timely value and feedback on how many people saw your ad, found your message meaningful, and clicked on the ad to then arrive at your website. So using, again, the insight from keywords, how do I actually go about being found on my website? And a couple of very basic rules that apply here is, first of all, to ask yourself, when you visit a page of your website or any other website, if you spend 2 to 3 seconds on this website, do you actually get what this page is about? If you don't get what this page is about, then this page has work to do. In other words, if the page says, "Welcome to my website," well, then Google will know that this web page is about welcome. Not very meaningful, is it? However, if your website says wedding photography in Ottawa, for example, then you get a very quick sense of, okay, this page is about wedding photography in Ottawa. And guess what? This page might have a chance of ranking for that keyword versus a site that said, welcome to my website and service is our business. And both of these are examples of sites that I've looked at where people were asking themselves, well, why do I not rank? Well, if I visit your webpage and it says, welcome to my website and service is my business, then you have essentially told me exactly nothing. Because, again, your page was not about me, it was essentially about you. And one of the first questions to ask yourself when you look at a page on your website is, what's in it for me as the visitor? In other words, the page is not about you, the creator of the website. It is about the visitor wanting to solve a problem. And I approach the website, and most visitors approach websites and web pages that way. They have a problem in mind that they want to solve. They ask themselves, what's in it for me? What's this page about? Why should I care? And where should I go next? So again, when you look at a page and ask yourself, can this page be found? Simply answer those simple questions. Is it meaningful to a visitor? Does it use the language of that visitor? Does it use that language in a way that I can easily digest that language? So use those keywords that we talked about and discovered in keyword analysis. Use these keywords in headlines, in the page title, in bullets, and in links. Because one of the other little elements that gets you found and your pages ranked in Google are the number of links that point back at an individual page. Generally speaking, the more links, the better. But of course, not all links are created equal. The better. But of course, not all links are created equal. If you have a link that points back to your site and says, click here, Google will exactly know, much as your visitors will know, that the page that it's about to go to is about the subject of, you guessed it, click here. Versus a link that says, and again I'm going back to my earlier example, Ottawa wedding photography, you have a very clear indication of what the link is about and what the page is about that I'm going to visit. So when you create links both on your page and in directories that you might submit your site to, make sure that those links are as keyword rich and as meaningful to your visitor as possible. And then, of course, you can then monitor your success of being found by, over time, observing what your rankings are for your chosen keywords, the kind of traffic you see, which is another B, of course, that I was talking about earlier, namely being analytical. And being convincing is all about actually converting visitors to buyers or prospects. So again, the first B in the 4 B's of online marketing, being found, is a really key element, and it all turns on your ability to identify the keywords that matter, integrate them into the pages on your website that really matter to you, and have lots of links pointing to your pages. And again, this is not rocket science. It all requires simply a very strong understanding of your target audience. Unfortunately, there are lots of tools and lots of additional help both online and in the offline world. And with that, I would certainly welcome any feedback that you have. You can visit my website at www.searchingworks.com or send me an email to chris@searchingworks.com.